just raised, but one of inflation relapse. The bank has trimmed in base rate from 4.25% to 4%, following a razor team 5 for but don't celebrate use yet. Inflation is projected to hit a worrying 4% by September, though the government 2% target. Rising food prices, higher living wage, um, packaging regulations are all peeling on pressure, and with unemployment climbing to a 4-year high at 4.7%, the bank faces a proper dilemma. Tighten 40.5%. The bank faces a proper dilemma, tightened to rein in inflation or erase off support growth. The government move to allow ransom payments in cybersecurity, crack down in a bull mob to deter cyber criminals. The UK government plans to ban payment in ransom cases. It's part of growing push to tighten cybersecurity and reduce incentives, illicit incentives. Asylum shake up, first migrants detained under one-in-one deal as part of this new channel migration policy. The UK has detained the first small boat arrivals, under has detained the first small boat arrivals on the one in one out pillow exchange, sending their bag of friend to France while accepting a matching number of asylum seekers from their British war. This limited policy may leave many vulnerable groups standard or try exclude. China mega embassy under the microscope, plans for a massive new China's embassy in London have raised 8 rounds. There are fears. The design includes sealed, unexpected space, potential intended surveillance, or worse. UK's official has given 2 weeks for clarity, but human rights group want the government to handle this like Ireland and Australia did by secret spy dungeons. Bank staff caught using WhatsApp as signal outside the rules. The FCA has uncovered 168 breaches of communication policies at 11 wholesale banks with censors, senior staff. Disproportionality involved. In response, banks are tenancy rules, no more GIF, emojis, or voice notes on personal device, and AI tracking is stepping up. And I greetings for that help. Right then, you turn out, drop your local news or what happening in your neck on of the woods down in the comments. This channel isn't just mine, it is for all of us who dare to speak for the other bloody shore. Thanks for watching this live. If you are enjoy this non-honest content, give us a like, follow the channel, turn off the notifications. It's easy for you, but it means the world to me. Let's keep speaking up where others stay silent onwards. Hey, don't forget, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn off notifications. It's simple, but it helped me keep doing this the way it should be done, without fear, without fear from the other side of the history. Okay, related violent offenders to be locked in restriction zones in a bid to better protect communities. The government is rolling out new restriction zones aimed at keeping the most serious violence and sexual offenders contained. The zones will curb offenders' movement geographical rather than imposing total bans. Achieve that women's safety campaigners are welcome as more human than previous blanket exclusion orders. Homelessness minister resigns amid scandal. The homelessness minister has stepped down after allegations surfaced that she evaded tenants from a property she owns only to significantly hike the rent. The resignation comes as a blow to the Labour government, especially as post-repeal reform UK gaining traction. Bank of England slashes interest rate, but inflation lumps in a narrowly decided move. The Bank of England has cut a basic interest rate from 4.25 to 5.0. However, this fit good in the year comes with a warning. Food price inflation is expected to push consumer inflation to 4%, double the government's 2% target. The economy remains fragile. North of England, sidelined by Global Talent Fund, academic and scientific institutions in northern England has been noticeably excluded from a slide of the government Global Talent Fund, designed to attract top international researchers. Critics are this regional bias could undermine efforts to bolster innovation across the whole country. And that is the new notice. Is the Bank of England cut its main interest rate to 4%, the lowest level since. The Guardians say back-based rate give signals wage rise. Conflict is on the way. The Times say why Rachel Reeves isn't panicking about that. And the third news is Bank of England cuts interest rates amid inflation woes, and say the Bank of England has reduced its key interest rate by 0.25%, bringing it down to 4%, the lowest level since March 2023, in a bid to revive the slowing UK economy. This marks the fifth rate cut since August 2024, when rates hit 60 years high of 5.25%. The decision came by narrow 5-4 vote by the Monetary Policy Committee, with Governor Andrew Bailey casting the tie-breaking vote. Despite this move, inflation remained stubbornly high, around 3.6%, significantly above the bank's 2% target. First cut suggests inflation could hit 4% by September and remain elevated for a few more years. Persistent pressures from rising food and energy costs, wage growth, and night highs are keeping the bank cautious. This delicate balancing act puts the bull in a tricky position, stimulating growth while avoiding further inflation and entrenchment. Many are now skeptical about whether further cuts are on the cards. Other notice or other news today is UK in global perspective, and say the IMF high slightly raised its forecast for UK GDP growth in 2025 to 1.2%, up from 1.1%, placing it among the stronger perform in the G7, so still being the US and Canada. Okay. Other news is on the European state tariff changes emerging from the US United Kingdom trade deal appear to offer a slight boost with the UK projected to benefit a modest to 0.2% long-term GDP increase. Okay. Quick take. Both less raised to 4%, aiming to spark economic movement. Inflation remains sticky, tracking about 3%, with a potential source to 4% this autumn. Other is growth remains steady, so IMF sentiment not upward. Others try dynamics, offer minus tailwinds, but external uncertainties persist. Let me know if you like this broken down for social media or serve it with more than irreverent opposition flavor. Okay, ugly updates. This news is about financial science and say ugly optics fears among over stubborn UK inflation. Others say why Rachel Reeves isn't panicked about that yet. Okay, now show up this news and say okay, impossible. Other is ugly optics. Okay, and say only €1 for 4 weeks assets. Okay, impossible. And say today headline Bank of England got raised in a divide vote, but inflation won't ease off anytime soon. The Bank of England had slashed its base interest rate to 4%, marking a fifth cut in just 1 year, the lowest since March 2023, but don't break out the bubble just yet. This decision was hotly contested, settled only after a rare second vote as the monetary policy commitment ran speed 5 or 4. Despite the rate cut, inflation is budding. In fact, it's stubbornly high and expected to peak at 4% by September, remaining well above the bank's 2% target for the foreseeable future. High wage growth, rising food, energy costs, and NL hikes are all conspiring to keep pricing sticky. The signals a caution approach to future cuts. Markets had hoped for another dose of easing by December, but does now look like wishful thinking. Analysis from Moody's, ING, and Capital Economies all suggest any easing from here will be gradual and highly conditional on inflation easing first. Other is GDP flashes some life, but still fragile. May 2025, the UK economy shrank by 0.1% in May, with production and construction heightened. The brakes on the bridge side. The 3 months to May saw GDP rise by 0.5, buoyed by gains in service. Chancellor Reeves faces a budgetary dilemma. Uh, Russia Reeves in starting um, 50 billion budget shortfall, trading to their plans unless they opt for harsh spending cuts or tax hikes. She's keeping still up live seeding growth prospect. Official forecast as reason to hold back for now. Okay, AP News. The Bank of England cut its main interest rate to 4%, the lowest level since. Okay, other is Financial Times ugly author first month over stubborn UK inflation. Um, BOE slashes raise to 4%, but inflation smirks bank. The Bank of England has cut its base rate by a quarter point to 4%, marking the fifth reduction since 2024 and the lowest point since March 2023. The vote was resorting 5 to 4 split, prompting a second ballot for the first time since 1998. But don't pump the bubble just yet. Inflation isn't just lingering. It's forecast to peak at 4% by September, doubling the bank's 2% target. The culprits, rising food and energy prices, stick waste growth, night hikes, and new packaging levies. As expected, this rate should may calm more tax bills, particularly to tracker and variable rate borrowers, but it's a proper kick in the teeth for savers witnessing evaporating returns. Market stock is it is street, the pound clean but if yields tick up, but the FTS 100 took a hit. Okay, economic growth remains. Early figures show a quarterly uptrend of 0.7% in Q1 2025, but a contraction is made on the forecast from the ENF, raised UK growth to 1.2% for 2025, with a forecast of 1.4% in 2025, putting the UK among Europe's fastest growing economies, just behind the US and Canada. Incredible. Meanwhile, the A item club forecast inflation at 3.4% average in 2025, cooling to 2.6% in 2025. Unemployment may rise to 5% by year end before easing back down. Okay, other news is another interest rate cut, but banks warn of new UK inflation shock is by the Times. Other is Financial Times say European earnings lag behind US as trade war throttles market revival. Other is China's competition has led to job losses in Eurozone manufacturing. Okay, what's brewing on the economy front? A healthy dose of skepticism. Bank of England rate cut squeezes homeowners and punishes savers. In a rare moment of drama, the boy managed to cut all a 5-4 rate cut to 4%, sparking an historic second vote after its split decision. It is a lovely bit of chaos masked as progress. Yes, mortgage borrowers might breathe easier briefly. Meanwhile, savers are left clinging to pennies as interest drifts away. All this while food inflation threatens to hit 5.5% by year's end. Wages are under pressure and the economy barely budgets. Bottom line is the classic conundrum: stimulus for growth or teenage to tame inflation. Neither feels satisfying. Eurozone companies struggle to keep pace with the US. Across the channel fares in the South Europe, uh, 600 are flight leaning compared to the US booming 9% earnings growth driven by tech and finance through Trump's tariff policy. Uh, a soaring euro up 12%, and you got a recipe for faltering exports and investor frustration. German and French industrial optimizing can only to so much when the global storm is brewing. European power fronts must be grossing something to give. And this is the news for today. See you later and see you soon. Take care. Goodbye.